On this Wednesday night, a warning from New Brunswick's premier to the province's soggy residents. If you think you've seen flooding like this before, don't be so sure. We'll show you the scene at Darling's Island, a community now closed off. Plus, we'll tell you what's yet to come, and it's not sunny news.
Also tonight, the group of mavericks bringing people free internet access and how close it might be to you.
And how Kanye West is dividing his fans. We'll look at the mogul's latest controversial take and his reaction to the criticism. But when you minimize slavery in the U.S., can you really take it back? This is The National.
Leave while you can, a calmly delivered message, but there was no questioning the urgency of authorities today in New Brunswick. They tried to appeal to nearly 2,000 people in the province's southern flood zones to evacuate their homes voluntarily while it's still safe to do so. And for anyone in high-risk areas, prepare for the worst.
So many people's reactions may be to say, oh, well, we've seen this before. We're not sure that's the case. We believe that the water levels are exceeding the 2008 levels and will potentially exceed the 1973 levels. So really, this is an event that we have, for many people in many communities, not seen before.
New Brunswick Premier Brian Gallant says he's already spoken with the Prime Minister about disaster assistance from the federal government. And emergency officials had a stern warning for people who choose to stay in their homes when they're being asked to leave.
I want to be perfectly clear that they should not expect things to be delivered to them. We're not in the business of delivering food or water or fuel or other supplies, because those things are really a distraction from the emergency operations that we can ill afford.
The worst of the flooding right now is in southern New Brunswick. In one small community, Darling's Island, the single road in and out is now underwater. The CBC's Kayla Hounsell tells us how people there are coping.
Cindy McKay is fleeing her home. The only way out is by boat. There's already water in her basement, and she isn't sticking around to see what might be next.
I can hear the water sloshing. So it was like I just went over and moved everything downstairs, upstairs, and said goodbye to my cats. Yeah.
But a couple of hours later, McKay decides to go back for the cats because the situation is getting worse.
Don't think I've ever been this stressed in my life, ever.
This is the only road into and out of the community, and people are using any way and every way to get around, leaving their cars on dry ground. Kids are going from the school bus to a kayak, backpacks and all.
This is the biggest flood I ever saw on Darling's Island before in my whole entire life.
Just in the 2 hours since we've arrived, the water level is rising quite a bit. It gets deeper as you go further down this road. Some residents have told us they've waded in water up to their chest. But they say once you get on the island, the homes are on higher ground and not at risk. The issue is getting out. Paul Thompson is determined to wait it out, preparing his home as best he can. But he worries about the many elderly people who live on the island.
My neighbor, who's 85, had hip surgery a while ago. So it's quite an impact. And he walked out with his walker, through the water.
Thompson is angry the government isn't doing more to help.
There's an emergency boat, but haven't seen it here, that it's supposed to be for take people back and forth in case of an emergency.
Cindy McKay wants to leave for good, but worries about the value of her property.
I want to move. I want out of here. I've been here for 17 years. This is my 5th flood. I'm done.
For now, all they can do is help each other as they watch the water rise. Kayla Hounsell, CBC News, Darling's Island, New Brunswick.
And joining us now, also watching and waiting, Harry Forstell in Fredericton. So, Harry, we heard there's some people saying this is the worst flooding they've ever seen. Do we know what's around the corner?
Yeah. Well, thankfully, things appear to have stabilized here in Fredericton for the time being, Andrew. The river is still at flood level, but it isn't climbing any further. The question is what's going to happen to all the water that's flowing down this river. Eventually it meets the Kennebecasis River, and both those bodies of water join up to go into the Bay of Fundy through the mouth of the St. John River, which is a very narrow gorge. All that water isn't going to fit through there at once. It's going to back up into the river valley and then be hit by a couple of Fundy tides that's going to add a lot of water. So we're not out of the woods by a long shot yet, Andrew.
And so, Harry, what is the response from government?
Well, Premier Brian Gallant had mentioned today that there would be some disaster assistance for those people who have lost their homes or had them damaged and businesses damaged. The other question is, what about the military? Do they have a role here? The Premier today said, we appreciate the military standing by, but we don't really need them yet. I talked with emergency measures officials in St. John earlier today, and they said they had discussed calling in the military, had decided that they would revisit that idea tomorrow. At this point, it doesn't seem likely, but it may become necessary as that floodwater hits the lower part of the river and St. John. So we'll have to wait and see on that, Andrew.
Okay, we'll see. Harry Forstall in Fredericton, thanks very much.
My pleasure.
Now, let me give you a sense of just how high the water is in St. John. The record level set in 1973 was 5.3 meters. Today, it reached 5.1. By tomorrow, it's expected to hit 5.4. And by Friday, 5.7 meters. That's almost 20 feet high. So let's bring in meteorologist Johanna Wagstaff. Because, Joe, we heard Harry talking about the geography, the terrain. What's the biggest threat in the forecast?
Well, Andrew, the immediate threat is the rain that's falling tonight. We're just looking at a general 10 to 20 millimeters across the province. Not enough for Environment Canada warning criteria, but there is a special weather statement because of embedded thunderstorms. We've been seeing lightning roll across New Brunswick through the evening hours, and that may lead to higher downpours. And all of that water, as Harry mentioned, will eventually end up in the St. John River system, ultimately making its way down through the south over the next couple of days.
And Joe, how much worse do we think this could get in the medium term?
Well, unfortunately, it's a bit of a worst-case scenario as far as the forecast goes. We've got the rain to get through tonight, and then temperatures are actually climbing as we head into the end of the week. And we still have a snowpack to melt. There's a substantial amount of snow, especially in the northern end of the province, over 40 centimeters in some estimations. And with these temperatures climbing into the high teens, low 20s, that will lead to rapid melt by the time we hit the end of the week and the weekend. And once again, all of that melted snow will make its way down through the river system, which is why we're talking at least another week of high concern.
Okay, buckle in. Our meteorologist, Johanna Wagstaff. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
And here's what else we're working on tonight. The politics of Kanye. Eli Glasner on the rap superstar's monumental shift and why so many people feel let down.
A CBC News investigation gets action from Ottawa on the Hassan Diab case. David Cochran follows his exclusive reporting ahead.
But first, there were fresh signs in Washington today that Donald Trump is arming for a confrontation with the so-called Russia investigation.
There is no quid pro quo between the Trump campaign and the Russians.
The man with waxed mustache, Ty Cobb, is now on his way out. Cobb was one of the last remaining Trump lawyers known for advocating a cooperative approach to the probe run by special counsel Robert Mueller. In his place, the president is adding this person, Emmett Flood, to his legal team. The significance? Well, Flood was one of the lawyers representing Bill Clinton when he faced impeachment in the late 90s. Flood is expected to take a more combative approach. A showdown is brewing, and our Paul Hunter shows us where it could go.
So, who's gonna blink? The president or the special prosecutor? In Robert Mueller's investigation into Russian meddling in the 2016 election and its alleged ties with the Trump campaign, the man with, in theory, a tale to tell insists there's no there.
There has been no collusion between the Trump campaign and Russians or Trump and Russians. No collusion.
But with reports Mueller may soon try to force him to go deeper than that, Trump is now bracing for that rarest of rare moves in U.S. politics, a subpoena involving a sitting president. It's happened before.
These materials, together with those already made available, will tell it all.
Richard Nixon wasn't subpoenaed, but his infamous audio tapes were. The U.S. Supreme Court signed off on it. Skip ahead a couple of decades, and Bill Clinton.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is. Yes.
He agreed to testify after being subpoenaed in the Monica Lewinsky inquiry. So Mueller could subpoena Trump and ask him anything. Trump could challenge it, though most think he'd lose in court. If Trump volunteers to talk, he could negotiate the terms. A time limit on questions, for example. Another option, agree to talk but take the fifth on certain questions, though in the past even Trump has noted
The mob takes the fifth. If you're innocent, why are you taking the Fifth Amendment?
But if Trump talks, the real risk is that he gets in trouble for telling the truth or for telling a lie. After all, Mueller likely wouldn't want to ask questions unless he knew the answers were worth it. Meanwhile, on Capitol Hill, potential trouble for Mueller, with word this week some Republicans are looking to derail all of it and impeach Mueller's boss, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein. To that, defiance.
I think they should understand by now the Department of Justice is not going to be extorted. We're going to do what's required by the rule of law.
Where's Trump on all of this? Tweeting aggressively today, calling Mueller's investigation a hoax, a setup and trap, and again, a witch hunt. Later, threatening, as he put it, to use the powers of the presidency to get involved, escalating tensions ever higher and signaling that this fight has likely barely even begun. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
So let's move to Canada's capital now, where there's a significant development in the Hassan Diab case tonight because of a CBC News exclusive investigation.
You are allowed as a prosecutor to cherry pick. You can just take the exculpatory evidences and throw them away and put anything looks like inculpatory. And of course you win.
That is Canadian Hassan Diab. You may certainly understand his view of justice. For decades, French authorities tried to link him to a 1980 bombing at a Paris synagogue. He was eventually extradited to France in 2014 and spent 3 years in prison, but was never charged. The French courts ultimately released him because of a lack of evidence. Last night, we revealed the great lengths a Canadian government lawyer went to starting in 2009 to ensure Diab was sent to France. Now, CBC News has learned about an unprecedented step Canada's Foreign Affairs Minister is taking in the case. David Cochrane is again breaking the developments in the story for us tonight.
Hassan Diab has found his way home, but he is still looking for answers. And now he has a powerful ally.
I have read the reports of the involvement of government officials in his extradition, and I think that this is indeed a matter which it is important to look into.
Chrystia Freeland has rarely, if ever, spoken publicly about Diab's case, but she has been raising it privately with French officials for years. Now, with the Justice Department doing an internal review of the case, a government official says Freeland, the Foreign Affairs Minister, will be keeping a close eye on its findings, even though it's not her department. The minister is personally very seized with ensuring that Mr. Diab receives the answers he deserves from the government about their role in his ordeal. It's pretty clear that what happened to Hassan Diab never should have happened in the first place. CBC News obtained a confidential memo that revealed the efforts Department of Justice lawyers made in 2009 to ensure Diab was extradited to France, taking steps to save the French case when it was on the brink of falling apart. As a result of those efforts, Diab spent more than 3 years in a French prison without ever facing a charge. Diab and his family have been calling for a public inquiry, not trusting an internal process. And now, after the CBC News report, Amnesty International and the BC Civil Liberties Association are doing the same. Given the revelations, it is clearly not appropriate for this to go forward as a largely internal review, carried out by the very department that may be responsible for transgressions. The rights groups are also calling for Canada to apologize to Diab and his family and compensate them for what they call a miscarriage of justice. David Cochrane, CBC News, Ottawa.
Still ahead on the National, Kanye West is a provocative guy, but his latest comments have divided a community. Eli Glasner tells us why this Kanye controversy matters.
And a tale of two techies will introduce you to a group of volunteers bringing free internet access to New York City and explain how Facebook's plan to do the same thing backfired.
But first, a sudden goodbye to a member of Parliament. Gord Brown died today, just 57. Take a listen to today's tributes to Brown on Parliament Hill.
I am truly saddened to inform the House of the sudden passing of our dear friend and colleague, the member for Leeds, Grenville, Thousand Islands, and Rideau Lakes, Gord Brown, earlier this morning.
As I go door to door and talk to people on the street, they're telling me that government mismanagement, fiscal problems that have come out, and just outright political corruption are one of the main things that they want to see changed.
Never in my wildest dreams would I have picked Gord to go before me. He had a great heart. He loved his family. He was passionate about his work.
Without doubt, Gord loved hockey, and his son's hockey abilities was an endless source of pride for him.
He understood that when you're in politics, it is a bit of a blood sport, and teamwork is important, and he exemplified that.
Gord was particularly good at transcending the partisanship here and really emphasizing the service not just to our constituents but to all Canadians.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is what democracy in action looks like. A concerned and passionate individual shares her concerns with her member of Parliament and continues to lobby for change. The Member of Parliament listens and presents the concern in the House and to his colleagues and to his leader, acts on the concern, resulting in positive change for all Canadians. It's our way of doing things, and it works.
Tonight on The National, remember that bizarre story about a body being found behind a bathroom wall in Calgary, a women's bathroom at a shopping mall? Well, police are now telling us they think it was a man in his 20s who'd climbed in through a vent last Friday. They think he got stuck and died. It wasn't until the following Monday a maintenance worker made that grisly discovery. No answers about why he might have climbed through the vent in the first place. A former employee of a performing arts school for kids in Calgary got 10 years in prison today for sex crimes. Philip Harima had pleaded guilty to 8 sex-related charges involving 6 teenage boys. In court today, the judge questioned whether Harima was remorseful for what he did and called his actions morally despicable.
What did they get called for? Because there were 2 black guys sitting here meeting me?
And the 2 black men arrested for loitering last month at a Starbucks in Philadelphia have settled their case with the company and the city. How much money they're getting from Starbucks is being kept secret, but from the city, they've agreed to be paid $1 each, along with a promise that the city will invest $200,000 in a program for young entrepreneurs. Starbucks has also since promised to give its American employees racial bias training later this month.
This next story can be summed up in 4 words. What did he say? TMZ hovers somewhere between relishing celebrities and dismantling them, and it got to do both with Kanye West when the acclaimed but often controversial rapper sat down with TMZ for a live interview. Here's what happened.
When you hear about slavery for 400 years, that sounds like a choice. Like, you was there for 400 years and it's all of y'all?
So that's what he said without explaining. 400 years of slavery sounds like a choice. The CBC's Eli Glasner now on the fallout.
It didn't take long for the world to react. In fact, the first reaction came from inside the TMZ newsroom.
Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt.
Laffin wasn't alone. Spike Lee took to Instagram to share a history lesson, writing, "Our ancestors did not choose to be stolen from Mother Africa." Kanye later clarified his comments, saying he was talking about people being mentally imprisoned. These days, Kanye is more a mogul than a musician. He has a new album on the way, but also a new line of shoes and clothing, which has some wondering if it's all a marketing ploy. Others say Kanye's success is causing him to lose touch.
He's coming from a place of privilege. He lives in a bubble. He's a celebrity. He's a successful music artist. He is not somebody who is in government housing and has to, worry about how their bills are going to be paid. So he can look at this, from a very, non-nuanced way.
This isn't the first time Kanye surprised people with his politics. In 2016, he visited then-President-elect Trump. At a show earlier that year, he ranted about Trump on stage. Shortly afterward, he was hospitalized for exhaustion. He later admitted he was suffering from an opioid addiction. Recently, Kanye has re-embraced the president, calling Trump "my boy" and showing off a signed baseball cap. In a video posted on his website, Kanye explained what he liked about the president.
Just the ability to do what no one said you could do, to do the impossible, is the most inspiring thing to me.
When he first burst on the scene, Kanye was seen as a vital new voice. There was nothing in his early music to match his new political outlook, says hip-hop writer A. Harmony.
He's always been very pro-black. He's been talking about racial inequality, economic inequality.
While Kanye shows no signs of backing down, Harmony says he's playing with fire.
I think there could be a boycott because, like I said, people really want their artists to have integrity and to stand for something. And if they don't believe in his platform, they might actually let that translate into their dollar, not buying his concert tickets or his albums.
Do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
But what Kanye calls free thought could come with a price. Eli Glasner, CBC News, Toronto.
So let's take a longer look at the heated exchange yesterday after Kanye made that controversial statement about slavery. Both men in this very emotional for different reasons.
Do you feel that I'm feeling, do you feel that I'm being free and I'm thinking free?
I actually don't think you're thinking anything. I think what you're doing right now is actually the absence of thought. And the reason why I feel like that
is because Kanye, you're entitled to your opinion. You're entitled to believe whatever you want. But there is fact and real world, real life consequence behind everything that you just said. And while you are making music and being an artist and living the life that you've earned by being a genius, the rest of us in society have to deal with these threats to our lives. We have to deal with the marginalization that has come from the 400 years of slavery that you said for our people was a choice. Frankly, I'm disappointed, I'm appalled, and brother, I am unbelievably hurt by the fact that you have morphed into something, to me, that's not real.
So those original comments, that reaction got a lot of reaction in turn. Just scroll through Twitter or whatever social media you go to see some of the prominent voices who came forward on that.
Yeah, it goes on. Next on The National, in the wake of the privacy scandal that grabbed global headlines, Facebook risks its relationship with app developers by turning off the data tap. What that means for small business owners developing most of those apps. Next.
And cutting out the middleman. Meet the anti-corporate band of volunteers intent on hooking New York City up to the internet without a telco.
We are so used to the internet being this other thing. It's run by private businesses, but there's no reason why it has to be. You know, that the core infrastructure that rigs up the whole planet with internet, anyone can connect to.
The company accused of misusing the personal data of 87 million Facebook users is going out of business, effective immediately. Cambridge Analytica said today it's losing clients and can no longer pay its legal bills. It will soon file for bankruptcy along with its parent company, SCL Elections Limited. The firm allegedly used that harvested Facebook data to help sway the 2016 U.S. election for Donald Trump. Now, the fallout from the Cambridge Analytica scandal also did some considerable damage to Facebook itself, as evidenced by Mark Zuckerberg's harsh grilling in Congress. He is now aggressively trying to plug those privacy holes. But as Kim Brunhuber explains, that decision is now damaging other tech companies.
This has been an intense year.
Intentional understatement from Facebook's CEO, drawing laughs from his employees, but stony silence from many third-party developers, those who depend on data from Facebook to make a living.
I know that it hasn't been easy being a developer these last couple of months.
Somewhere in this hall is a developer who flew all the way here from London, determined to get answers.
Hopefully we can talk to Facebook directly now and say, hey, this is what we do. Here's the good side of Facebook data analysis. Is this still okay?
The company he founded is literally in the business of happiness. He says his app scans users' Facebook data to give them a picture of how happy they really are. But
we are accessing data in a very similar way, I guess, to how at least some of the bad actors would be perceived.
The bad actors, like Cambridge Analytica, a company that sold the personal data of millions of Facebook users without their permission. Facebook responded by limiting the amount of personal data third-party developers can collect. And SaaS's small business, like thousands of others, can't survive without access to some of that data.
It has meant that our production has come somewhat to a standstill.
Some companies, like the market research firm CubeU, which doesn't sell users' data, were even barred from Facebook altogether.
Facebook just didn't even much look into the specific situation, just threw us under the bus.
Are you willing to change your business model?
To some, Facebook's response to the scandal has highlighted the perils of an entire economic ecosystem dependent on one massive host.
Forcing Microsoft to include Netscape's competing software.
In the 1990s, fearing Microsoft had become a monopoly, U.S. lawmakers tried to break up the company.
Basically, are they too big?
Canadian Mike Anani, who studies online communication at USC, wonders if regulators may be forced to do the same with giants like Facebook and Google.
There's an open question of whether or not these companies should exist at this scale at all.
SaaS, meanwhile, will head back into the San Jose Convention Center, desperate to meet with someone from Facebook to convince them that his small company, well, they're the good guys.
We are based on the study of happiness, and ours has certainly been depleting somewhat recently.
He has no plan B. Kim Brunhuber, CBC News, San Jose, California.
From Facebook in places of fortunes to places of poverty. Last week, Mark Zuckerberg said his company in just a few short years had helped more than 100 million underprivileged people connect to the internet for free. It sounds good, but tonight we are asking, what's the cost of Facebook's free internet?
We believe that connectivity is a human right.
A noble intent to want to get the whole world online. Facebook has certainly tried. In places where mobile data is expensive, much of the developing world, Facebook started partnering with local telecoms a few years ago, offering an app it had built called Free Basics. That gives people a stripped-down version of Facebook and a few other sites for free without having to pay for data. Developing markets in Africa, Latin America, and Asia Pacific got on board. With excitement came a snag. We saw it firsthand in the Philippines. Fake front pages of stories, bogus headlines, salacious pictures started polluting feeds, the work of those trying to sow dissent. People weren't opening the articles or fact-checking them because that would mean veering off the free service and paying. Forget that, they told us. What do you think this does to your democracy?
They can manipulate the minds of the people into believing something that is not real.
And then there's Myanmar. Free Basics was introduced into the country in 2016. Facebook membership skyrocketed.
Everything is done through Facebook in Myanmar.
UN investigators suggest the pervasiveness of Facebook in Myanmar may have led to the spreading of hate speech, fueling sectarian violence against the Rohingya Muslims, something that happened when Myanmar had Facebook's Free Basics.
And that accusation has been leveled in other locations in other countries, especially where democracies are particularly fragile.
For reasons it says are related to business or local governments, Facebook has recently started to pull Free Basics. It's gone now from Myanmar, gone from Bolivia and El Salvador and the Republic of Congo. But Molly Sauter says the damage is done.
I don't think it was particularly good or healthy to be funneling millions of underrepresented and underpowered individuals onto the Facebook platform where they didn't have any defense, and this was their only way of accessing the internet.
Whatever the damage, millions still relied on Free Basics to connect, and now they've lost that. You don't have to go as far as the Philippines or Myanmar to find concerns over who controls access to the net or how that access is handed out. Take the debate over so-called net neutrality.
I dissent from the corrupt process that has brought us to this point. The agency that is supposed to protect you
is actually abandoning you.
Some harsh words from critics there when the U.S. FCC ruled to roll back net neutrality last year, something activists have been fighting for years to keep. Without it, internet service providers could favor some internet traffic over others, what we see online or how fast we see it. The ruling was a blow for net neutrality advocates, but their anger fueled a bit of a tech-savvy resistance movement. The plan: liberate internet users from the big businesses most rely on for access, because it turns out you don't actually need them. Stephen D'Souza takes us inside New York's Mesh Network.
As dusk settles on top of this 700-foot building in the middle of Manhattan, Zach Giles seems a little like the Robin Hood of the internet, except he's not stealing. Those antennas he's adjusting on that creaky ladder belong to NYC Mesh, a community of internet outsiders who are on a mission.
The internet doesn't really cost you anything, it's just a connection. So however you can get plugged in, then you're on the internet. Nobody owns the internet. There's no one to pay.
Those antennas are plugged into this data center, the doorway to the internet. It's called a supernode. Zach says it costs about $1,000 a month to plug in, and they then share that free internet with their users.
Do you think most people understand, the difference between an ISP and going straight to the internet?
I wish they would, but I think most people just understand whether Netflix is fast or not.
It's an underground movement taking on big internet. By day and closer to the ground, NYC Mesh volunteer Jason Howard is helping spread that network.
Would you mind letting Brian know that it's hooked up?
This team is building a mesh network. Let's break this down. Picture a spider web of wireless connections. The signal from the supernode travels more than 3 kilometers, and a mesh of antennas spread out on rooftops or balconies receive that signal. Then, using Wi-Fi, other antennas repeat the signal. Each supernode could connect thousands of users.
So if you have the internet coming in at one point...
Science and tech writer Kaylee Rogers says it requires a shift in how we see the internet.
We are so used to the internet being this other thing. It's run by private businesses, but there's no reason why it has to be. That the core infrastructure that rigs up the whole planet with internet, anyone can connect to if you have the money and you can find the bandwidth and you can get on. And so the privacy thing, when you're building your own community-based network, you can sort of write in whatever you want into the terms of service, into how it's being used, into the rules, and people can decide for themselves, okay, we don't want all our data being tracked, we don't want our browser history being recorded, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas with an ISP, you don't really have a choice. They decide that, and then you pay them your monthly bill. Before we decided to wire the whole building.
At this production office in Brooklyn, a major internet provider wanted to charge $80,000 to wire the building. NYC Mesh will connect them for only $200 per office.
Since you're not connected to it.
The volunteer network, by checking signal strength and configuring access points, gets systems connected.
I want to participate and put my efforts into helping a free internet, where people get access, not free as money, but free as in free access.
You're basically cutting out the middleman, aren't you?
Yeah.
How far do you see this going?
I think the general idea is, if we hit 15 supernodes, we'll cover most of New York City.
And those supernodes, monster antennas that send out an internet signal, the more supernodes, the bigger the network. Brian Hall organizes most of the installations.
We don't really install if it's less than 30 megabits.
And when you put that in everyday terms...
Well, you only need 5 megabits per second to watch Netflix at normal resolution. So 20 people can watch Netflix at the same time.
Since 2013, NYC Mesh has installed 154 antennas around New York, and that number is growing. When net neutrality laws and access to a free internet came into question last December, interest spiked dramatically. Their waitlist went from 500 requests for installation last year to over 1,300 already this year. The ask is a $20 a month donation per member, and they now make enough in donations to cover operating costs. Jessica Marshall is the latest NYC Mesh enthusiast.
I think it's exciting to be able to get to know your neighbor and share internet that way, and just remember that you don't need to rely on this nebulous entity that's elsewhere. that you can build your own internet, that you can have control over it.
A big draw. NYC Mesh won't monitor, track, or store personal information, unlike other providers that scrape and sell data.
This is the moment that internet will come to the building.
All right, so let's go inside and see if they have the internet. All right, so Alex, you're online? Looks like it's working.
Great, definitely working.
But there's more to this than privacy and anti-corporate internet.
So this is an ideal location for us to put our same antennae on these buildings.
Clayton Banks' network, Silicon Harlem, is using community internet to bridge the digital divide. 40% of people here can't afford to get online.
I had a 15-year-old young person come to me and say, I don't have a computer at home and we don't have broadband at home. So I have to go to libraries and Starbucks to get stuff done. I'm falling behind because those who have those things, right, they're no smarter, but they just have the tools to get it done. So that's why this is so vital.
Attendance was sparse at earlier monthly meetups at this bar to talk about the promise of mesh networks. Now, as interest grows, so too does the crowd. And to stay true to their philosophy of a free internet, NYC Mesh will need more buy-in if the network is to spread.
If we get more monthly income, we can then pay for more supernodes, and then that will allow more connections to the network.
We've actually heard a lot of stories about people who can't do their homework because they don't have internet, and it's a little bit disappointing. So we're trying to find those areas and service them if possible.
As it keeps growing, the folks behind NYC Mesh know there will be challenges as they take on the status quo. How long before they need to start charging more, and how long before the big internet companies take notice? Stephen D'Souza, CBC News, New York.
Still to come on The National, how did a burned-out blue sedan wind up dangling from a bridge in Toronto?
The Prime Minister says his government is still committed to strengthening the rights of Indigenous people. And speaking today to the Assembly of First Nations, Justin Trudeau assured them they're on the road to controlling their own destiny. But for a number of chiefs, there's a pipeline in the way. Evan Dyer explains.
What we have managed to accomplish in 2.5 years has changed irreversibly Canada and set us forward on a much better path.
Justin Trudeau got a warm reception at the Assembly of First Nations, where he promised to create what he calls an Indigenous Rights framework and protect Indigenous languages. Some chiefs think it's a lot to achieve before the next election.
Can you assure us that this legislation will get passed before the end of this mandate?
I recognize your faith in my capacity to get re-elected.
Trudeau told the chiefs his government's already done a lot, building new infrastructure and launching an inquiry into missing and murdered women and girls.
There are things that we have done together over these past 2.5 years that will never be able to be undone, and that is a good thing.
$16 billion extra dollars have been budgeted for Indigenous projects since Trudeau came to power, lifting 62 boil water advisories and starting work to extend the electrical grid to remote reserves. Money's also gone to education, healthcare, and child welfare. But there's been less progress on issues like land, treaty rights, and sovereignty.
We can do this quickly or we can do this right. And I know that those two are mutually exclusive.
I think he is saying the right things, but really when you look at it, is he doing the right things?
Manitoba Chief Sheila North is running to replace Perry Bellegarde as AFN National Chief in July. She's backed by chiefs who say Bellegarde is too cozy with the Trudeau government, including BC bands that oppose the Kinder Morgan extension.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has failed to respect the Indigenous rights of the Squamish people, has failed to consult my nation when it comes to the expansion of the Kinder Morgan pipeline and the increased oil tankers through our territory.
So while many here give the Trudeau government credit for its efforts, pipelines loom ever larger as a threat to its reconciliation agenda. Evan Dyer, CBC News, Ottawa.
We have long known that exercise can improve your mood, but some compelling new evidence shows it can actually help fight off depression. Christine Birak has a look.
Driving from Toronto to California takes about 40 hours. Trucker Morris Bellis drove the route for years. But in 2009, his sister and mother died just months apart. His father was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Bellis says his quiet cab began to feel like a prison.
I think it was more emptiness. It's being alone, empty. You can talk to so many people, but most of them won't understand. You know, maybe give you a pat on the shoulder and say, you know, keep going. All you can do is keep going.
Bellis didn't want to keep going. He found himself lying on his couch, thinking about his kids.
How can I get out of this?
He pushed himself to get up and go for a short bike ride, never imagining 3 years later that would be him, zipping around, pedaling through his depression.
It changes your body. It changes something. I'm not a doctor, but there's something.
Depression.
David Goldblum is a doctor.
We don't really know why exercise reduces the risk for episodes of depression.
He says there's evidence to show exercise can help people enduring mild to moderate depression. It can also be preventative. Based on nearly 50 large studies, international researchers say, regardless of age or where in the world you live, 150 minutes of exercise a week helps protect people against depression later in life. Anything from running and swimming to brisk walking or even dancing.
This is not a speedy muffler guarantee. This is about reducing the risk for depression, but it's not about eliminating the risk for depression.
Goldblum insists parents and school boards should take heed. The first signs of mental illness tend to manifest during the teen years.
The irony to me is that physical exercise and physical education seems to have become de-emphasized in secondary and post-secondary education compared to generations ago.
Bellis knows depression can be draining. He says whether it's 5 seconds or 5 minutes of exercise, anything is better than nothing.
So right now, it's freedom right now, and after a long day of 8 hours,
it's his time to live in the moment. Christine Birak, CBC News, Vaughan, Ontario.
A mystery dangled over the morning commute in Toronto today. A burned-out blue sedan hanging from a bridge into the city. Now police are scratching their heads over who might have put it there. It's just a shell of a car, no engine, no license plates. But for about 3 hours this morning, it had some drivers doing double takes. Among them, a police officer carpooling into work.
I didn't know the reason why a car would be suspended underneath the bridge. It's not a normal sight to see.
He called 911, and pretty soon firefighters, paramedics, police, all on the scene. They discovered no one was inside the car, and then they had to figure out how to get it down. Now the question is, who put it there? A renegade artist, an off-the-grid film shoot?
Whatever it is, did not have proper approval.
And of course, many speculating it could have been a prank. In 2001, engineering students at UBC hung a Volkswagen from the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. A few years later, they managed to pull off the same stunt on the Lions Gate in Vancouver. But Ryerson and the University of Toronto say their students weren't involved this time around. Whoever it was could be in trouble. Police have opened a mischief investigation.
Hundreds of people packed a Toronto church this morning to say goodbye to Marie DAmico. The 30-year-old was one of the 10 people killed in last week's van attack. Today, a friend delivered a statement from her family, and one of DAmico's friends from high school shared her grief. Take a listen.
It's been a lot of disbelief and shock for a lot of us, and it's taken us many days to even process that it happened. And then we see her picture on the news and we see the videos and we start to slowly realize that maybe this did happen and that we have lost her. But she just left people with so much happiness that the family doesn't want us to be sad and angry. They want us to be hopeful and happy and to pass on her message.
Like springtime, Anne-Marie also had a lightness about her, a warmth and a way of being that we miss beyond words and feel deep in our hearts. We would be honoring Anne-Marie if we can always see the light, despite of this tragedy, and never walk in fear in our great city. And so today, we ask that you continue to feel the sun, the lightness, and the warmth of being that Anne-Marie and others must have felt walking outside that balmy spring afternoon last week. Our resilience can and must be a legacy to all of them.
And one of the men carrying DAmico's casket was Rob Greco. He rushed to her side after she was hit by the van, and he waited with her for paramedics to arrive. In their statement, her family said he is a shining example of the kindness that Anne-Marie had to offer.
Earlier in the program, we showed you some of the tributes for Conservative MP Gord Brown. His sudden death today sparked an outpouring of condolences. But for his good friend, Tony Clement, today was also a reminder of the toll politics can take. His tribute is our moment of the day.
I've known him since 1981. We grew up in the YPCs together. We worked on each other's campaigns. He's just a good man, and he was always there for all of us. And I'll miss him every minute of every day. He was an excellent parliamentarian. He took his job seriously. He was passionate. It's just another lesson about this job. I'm not trying to be morbid, but it's a death trap for people sometimes. It takes years off your life, and I know we do it willingly, but sometimes the price is very high.
The Conservative leader, Andrew Scheer, said today that Gord Brown was thought to have played his regular Wednesday morning hockey game, and then he went to the office, and that's where he died.
Tony Clement mentioned he was a good parliamentarian, a good person. We heard that from people from all the parties, a reminder that there are a lot of good people in politics, and it's too bad that it takes a death to hear that sentiment expressed publicly.
Yeah, a lot of good people, Ian, and a lot of people with families. He leaves behind his wife, Claudine, and 2 sons, Chance and Tristan. And that is where we'll leave things tonight. Thanks so much for joining us here on the program. That's The National for May the 2nd. Good night.
Good night.